Lotto for search.
Hello YouTube, and today I want to talk about what is a gun form of security, or the ability to make your plays go through. And the reason I want to discuss this is because when Goyo was put at 1, I seem to be the only person that realized that Miraflor is indeed person again to block his way, seeing how they're now at 3. And so I now started to think, how does one guarantee security in their plays? How do they know that their plays are going to go through? And so I have here a variety of different cards that can guarantee such thing. Let's look at Lance. Lance says target one face-up monster on the field until the end phase, lose 8 on attack, but unaffected by the effects of other spell and trap cards. So that could be really nice. That one monster that you summon, it's unaffected by anything else, yeah, and loses 800, yet if it's a pretty strong monster, you can get past any trap except Solemn, because you can't chain Lance to Solemn. So, but yet the main problem with this is that it's only one monster. If they torrential, you have to choose between your monsters and which one you want to save. And if you're planning on going for an XZ, if they bottomless or torrential multiple times in a turn, you're going to need multiple lances in order to make sure your play goes through. So I find that this has a little bit of shortcomings in the fact that it just can't save, it can't guarantee that your entire play is going to go through. And so let's look at some other cards. 7 Tools and Wiretap, they're pretty similar. Wiretap, it shuffles it back in the deck, and so I dislike that, because unless it's a card that actually costs life points, such as Solemn, you're gonna see it again. Like what? Like if you can Wiretap Compulse, okay, I'm just gonna compulse your monster if I draw into that again. Or if you Wiretap Torrential, you still have to worry about Torrential. Now 7 Tools destroys it, so that's good, but you do have to pay the 1000 life points, but they still have the same shortcoming as Lance did, where it only stopped one card. Well, yes and no, but yet the fact that if you would go an XZ summon with a monster that you just saved from a bottomless, you could still fall to a torrential or something else. So I find that 7 Tools and Wiretap are a little weak. And then there's Trap Sun and Water Creep. So these cards are very similar in the fact that they negate all traps on the field, which can be bad because it negates your traps also, so discretion is advised when activating these, yet they can protect multiple monsters. All of your opponent's traps are negated for that turn. So that means you can go summon, it can't be Solemn, these guys can negate Solemn, which is really great if you activate them beforehand. So you can summon a monster, they can't do anything to it if you've already activated Warrior Queen Trap Sun. And so then you can make your XZs, your Synchros, and all the plays you want to make before anything were to stop them. Now, I feel we have made the assumption that all the stun cards are traps, when not all of them are. I mean, everybody's raging about Fire and Ice Hand nowadays. And so, let's look at some variety of different stun cards. You have the Fire and Ice Hand, you have Kaiser. That can stun your opponent in the ability to prevent them from having multiple monsters out. So that's just the same as a bottomless or a torrential. You have Supply Squad. Well, this doesn't prevent your opponent from doing anything. It means that if they do anything, you're gonna plus off of it. You still have Effect Veiler and her nice Orica. And then let's see what else. What else is there? There would be. Let's see. Let's just throw in Dark Hole too. Because while it may not be fast enough, it still gets rid of your opponent's monsters. And so that's what counts. I mean, if they have no monsters and they start their turn off, they don't have much. So let's see. Let's add some other traps. Cause these two special. Breakthrough Skill and Compulse are special because these guys can be activated whenever. They don't require a summon or anything. While a lot of the big stun cards require your opponent to summon a monster or something to happen in order for you to activate it. So if you're going to go and flip up Trap Sun or Water Creep, you can just get rid of one monster with Compulse, which you may be thinking, it's just one monster, then it's a waste of Compulse. But yet the thing is though, if you're going to make a big play, you just got rid of a monster, meaning that you can do more damage. That could be the difference between doing a direct attack and just a normal attacking against a monster. That could be the difference between you attacking a monster and getting honest or not. And then Breakthrough Skill, which can be negated by a Trap Stun and War Decree. The other thing though is that they cannot be negated by them if you banish it from the graveyard. Which means this card is really, really nice, because it still means you have that option. If you're going up against this, like a Midrash, you can Breakthrough Skill and flip up Torrential, and if they both go through, you're pretty good. And so, you see that there's a variety of other stun power than Trap. So I feel that Trap Stun and War Decree are two really good cards. They're probably the best form of protection you can get right now between the really big trap cards. And obviously, they don't do anything to these guys. So which is better? And it's really hard to say. I say it depends on what type of tech you're playing. If you're playing Shaddolls, I would suggest one or two. Let's see, where is... I want to find... here she is, Midrash. If you're playing with Shaddoll Midrash, I would suggest War Decree. Because even if something were to happen to Shaddoll Midrash, you could get her back next turn by simply returning this card to your hand. Come on, go someplace. There we go. So next turn you can just make another Midrash, or even a Nephilium if necessary. Oh, you could even make this guy if necessary. So Shaddolls are a deck that I would say to run one or two War Decrees, because every turn once they make their play, they can constantly make more plays. The same would go for Madolche. The reason being is because a lot of times, once you use Tiramisu's effect, you return Angeli and Muflin. Yeah, Muflin, that's the monster. So that means even next turn you can just make another Tiramisu. You have it right there, then and there. So they could be a deck that could run War Decree because they know that once they get their plays going, they can continuously make more plays every following turn. Well, yes, it does grant security to your opponent, meaning that whatever play they have, it would go through. So that could be a little bit of a downer, be it if you're sitting on a Midrash or Nephilium, or you just Tiramisu'd a lot of their cards back to their hand, or back to the deck even, then they're going to be out of luck. So what decks would run Trap Stun? Would be pretty much any deck that can't cycle like Madolches and Shaddolls. That could be anything like Blackwing, or even Cosmic Dragons if you're not going for Quasar. Because, well, they have that one trap card that they want to go off. But yet, Cosmic Dragons, if you're being more aggressive and not running the Quasar build, then I suggest one or two Trap Stuns, so that way you know your summons, and that your Synchro summons are going to go through, and that your attacks are going to go through. And then, right after when you end, and it's your opponent's turn, all of your trap cards go back, and you can start floating into more monsters again. So, I feel that in this format, with Mirrorforce and Deep Prison Maniacity, you have to run either Trap Stun or War Decree. Like, those are going to be the best cards you can get. And for Shaddolls, like, yeah, War Decree makes perfect sense. You can constantly make plays. Same with Tiramisu's. You can constantly make Tiramisu's every following turn. Trap Stun works for those decks that works really well with Synchro decks, because they don't have the same cycling as Madolches anymore. They don't. They used to, but yeah, not anymore. So I feel that Trap Stun works well for Blackwings, Cosmic Dragons, just pretty much any deck that needs to make that one play, and then if it falls through and your opponent makes a better play, then they need to quickly go back to stunning. So that's just my opinion. I mean, if you couple it with some of the other forms of stun power, then you should still be okay. Fire and Ice Hand still go off even if War Decree is on the field. The Kaiser still prevents your opponent from summoning a certain amount of monsters. The supply squad is still going to go off. So that's just how I feel about traps. And I'm hoping that this tells you guys something. And while these guys have their shortcomings, they are still pretty good. Lance can be that one card that can really help, because you can activate it from your hand the time you draw it, so you don't have to wait, you don't have to worry about being NFT'd. So these guys do have some, well, specifically Lance, they do have some abilities, so it may be on a combo of these. I mean, it's up to you guys, but yet don't just pass up certain cards because you're too afraid. Well, yes, if you're running a one or two Royal Decrees, I wouldn't suggest running a lot of traps, because if you get that Royal Decree, your traps are dead. Yet if you play it right and wait until you're going to make your play and say, next turn I'm going to make a play, so I'm going to set this card, then it would work, because then all your traps are left. You're not going to activate it too early, and even if you do open up with it first hand, it's still really nice to flip a Royal Decree on your opponent during the end phase and say all the cards they set are dead. It's like Royal Decree can pretty much be that heavy nowadays. The fact that they just set 3 and all their Deep Prisons and Mirror Force and Solemns that they now just set are dead. So it's still viable. I'd say these cards are definitely viable. Tell me what you guys think. I feel like a lot of people are already maining Trapstun. But yeah, don't pass up Royal Decree, especially for decks that have really good cycling. I don't know many other decks that can cycle like Madolches or how Shadows can, once you get rid of them, they're just going to come back next turn. I don't know many decks that can do that. Yet those decks, I would say Royal Decree for decks that can't trap them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Plan on having some more videos out. And I'm currently thinking about doing a Noble Knight deck profile. Tell me what you guys think of that, or if there's any other decks that you would like to see. See you guys later. Bye.